This is how I met the craziest Tinder girl. I swiped right on a girl named Sarah on Tinder. We messaged each other for a while and decided to meet in person. I gave her the address of a local restaurant and we agreed to meet there for dinner. As we chatted, I couldn't help but feel like I had known her for years. The conversation continued to flow easily, and I found myself getting lost in her beautiful blue eyes. As we sipped our drinks, I couldn't help but notice how the sunlight cascaded through the window, casting a warm glow on her face. She spoke with such grace and eloquence, and I was captivated by her every word. The restaurant buzzed with life and energy around us, but in that moment, it felt like we were the only two people in the world. As we were eating, she suddenly started speaking in a totally different language, one that I didn't understand. I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe she was just trying to be funny, but the words sounded guttural and menacing. Then she laughed, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. That's when her teeth were pointy and sharp like a shark's. I looked around the restaurant, hoping someone would notice, but everyone seemed oblivious to the horror that was unfolding in front of me. She leaned closer to me and whispered, "I hope you're ready for a wild ride," and I knew then that I needed to get out of there as fast as possible. I couldn't believe my eyes. One moment we were laughing and joking around, and the next, she had pulled out a knife and lunged at me. Instinctively, I dodged to the side and pushed her away, but the shock lingered in my mind. It was like she was possessed by some kind of malevolent force, her eyes had turned dark and her smile was twisted into a devilish grin. As she backed away from me, I couldn't help but wonder what had caused such a sudden and drastic change in her demeanor. Was it something I said? Or was there something else entirely at play? Either way, I knew that I needed to get out of there as quickly as possible before things got even more out of hand. I tried to run out of the restaurant as fast as I could, my heart racing with fear. But I knew she was right behind me. I could hear her footsteps echoing off the walls and her heavy breathing just inches away. When I burst out onto the street, people stopped in their tracks and stared as if they had seen a ghost. Panic set in and I sprinted towards my car, jumping in and slamming the door shut. But my relief was short-lived as she immediately began to bang on the windows, shouting at me to let her in. The world around me seemed to blur as I sat there, terrified, listening to her screams and wondering how it had all gone so wrong. I drove away as fast as I could, but I knew she was still following me. She chased me down the deserted streets, and I managed to lose her. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest and my hands shaking on the steering wheel. The adrenaline was still coursing through my veins as I pulled into the parking lot of my apartment complex. I rushed inside, making sure to lock the door behind me. I collapsed on the couch, trying to catch my breath and calm my nerves. Who was she and why was she following me? These were the questions swirling through my head as I tried to make sense of what had just happened. After the incident, I couldn't help but to feel paranoid and unsafe. I wasn't sure if it was safe to continue using Tinder or any other online dating apps. The thought of meeting strangers made me nervous, and I couldn't shake off the feeling of vulnerability. I decided to take a break from online dating and focus on improving my social skills. I joined clubs and groups that share my interests and hobbies, and slowly but surely, my confidence started to build up again. I learned that meeting people in person might be slower, but it's a lot safer and more genuine. I still think about what happened and wonder if I made the right choice calling the police, but at least I know that I did what I could in that moment. Dating can be both exciting and nerve-wracking. In today's world of online dating apps and websites, it is crucial to be vigilant and careful when choosing a date. The lesson is to be cautious and pay attention to any red flags. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and overlook things that may indicate that the person sitting across from you may not be mentally stable. Take the time to get to know someone and observe their behavior before deciding to take things to the next level. Trusting your instincts and listening to your gut feeling can go a long way in ensuring that you stay safe and find the right person. Ultimately, it's better to be safe than sorry and avoid potential danger by choosing your date carefully.